Yeah, I thought it was great to get a bye week, especially give our guys off. You know, they had Thursday, Friday, Saturday, uh, Sunday off. Just kind of get away from it. It's been a long 10 game stretch. I think we had one of the last bye weeks, if not the last, in college football. So, I think much needed. Get guys healthy and just hopefully be able to finish off the season the right way. So, was good to definitely be able to get ahead on some opponents a little bit, but more importantly, just keep our guys fresh towards the latter part of the week there. So, I think they're excited. I think they're ready to roll, and it's a big time opponent, probably the best Group of Five team we've played. These guys in Coastal in our time here, so. Excited for the opportunity and just gonna be a big game this week. Just kind of recapping Ole Miss week. I thought we played really good defense in the second half and just gave up. We gave up 5 explosive plays, really 3 for touchdowns, and that was the difference in the ball game. And credit to them and their staff. They had some really good players and did a good job. I thought our kids played really hard. The one thing I was proud of. We didn't lay down, literally or figuratively, as you guys saw. That's just not how we're going to do things. We knew they were going to play with tempo. We got it lined up, played the next play, so I was really proud of how our kids finished in the second half. In particular, I thought we really fought, battled, made it a ball game, and just 1 or 2 plays here or there, go the other direction. I think it's a different game, but excited about what we have. 2 big challenges, with these next 2 ball games. So we definitely have our work cut out for us with ULL this week.
Scott, you referenced, how late the bye week is, but just in terms of getting guys fresh and getting them healthy, how welcome was it, and how fresh and healthy is your defense going to be moving forward?
Yeah, we should have everybody. Minus Quentin, obviously it's the season ending, but we should be full go with everybody back. So, in particular, the D line was a little bit banged up throughout most of the season, nicked up with different guys in and out. So, hopefully we're fully fresh on Saturday and ready to roll. So yeah, I think it was huge to get it, in particular before these 2 games. Hopefully that'll help us and give us a chance to be competitive for sure.
A lot of times you talk about doing a self-scout over a bye week. Was that something you were able to do? And if so, what are some main takeaways you have of your defense through the first 10 games of the year?
Yeah, I think, from a positive, we've done a pretty good job on third downs. I thought that was a huge part of the Ole Miss game in particular. That was one of the keys that we talked about. They were 2 of 11, I believe, on third and fourth down combined. And but I think for the most part we've done a pretty good job there, especially third and medium, third and short. Nothing really mind blowing from a self scout standpoint that I don't feel like we didn't already know going into it, and then just being able to utilize that time to try to prep for our last 2 opponents, which obviously Army's an option team, so there's some time in there that you can spend getting ready for that, which is we'd kind of planned in the schedule. But I just think, evaluating where we're at, what we're good at each week, and I think every week's different. Where do we have to win? We felt like going into the Ole Miss game, that first run that popped, that was the only time we called that call. I was so worried about getting a call in. Everyone I talked to said, hey, you can't worry about looking for this, looking for that. Just get a call in. So we called something. It should have been a great call. We didn't fit it up. It should have been a good call. But obviously we didn't fit it up, and it wasn't. So I think just evaluating kind of situations like that. When are we, calling certain things, putting our guys in the best situations, and then just looking at I think every game's different. Going into that game, we knew we were going to have to stop the run. And try to limit explosive plays. We knew they were going to get some explosive plays. We were just hoping to not be touchdowns, and obviously we did a lot better job in the second half of that, making them earn the field. I think you kind of saw that with, their game. If you watched the Ole Miss A&M game, it was kind of a spitting image of each other, really. They should have had 35 points at half, moved the ball all up and down the field, but struggled in the red area some. So, I think just looking at all of it, John, evaluating, the areas we got to improve. I think we've been really good TFL-wise. I think we're, top 5 or somewhere in there going into last week in the country and creating negative plays, so that's a plus. Against a team like this, you've got to be so disciplined. ULL is very, I kind of compared in some ways to an option-style offense just with the amount of motion and shifting, almost wing T-esque. They don't do a lot as far as run game. They just do it really, really well. And it's as soon as you're not lined up in the right gap, as soon as you don't handle a motion right, they've got, 2 really, really good backs, and they pop it and they hurt you. And then the ability to, Levi, obviously he started there for, 4 years now, 3 years? I know he was starting when we played him last time. So, his ability to extend plays and then, deliver the ball deep over the middle, they've hit, about everybody they've played with at least 1 or 2 explosive touchdowns. So, just like we played them last time, really good up front, really well coached, experienced O-line, a lot of tight ends that they utilize, and same thing with receivers. They probably play more receivers than anybody we've played, and they're all big. You look at their wideouts, it's 6'2", 6'3", 6'1", 6'3", so those matchup problems that they present there. So, I think just looking at all that and then obviously evaluating our game plan as we look at the matchups going into this game.
Scott, the pieces around Levi have changed a bit, but what do you remember about facing off against him? And does it help that you do have guys like Ralph, Elijah, Trayshawn, Scruggs that have played against him and know how dynamic he can be?
I think it definitely helps. That was, a couple of years ago. So how much of that does that play into factor where those guys, they've played a lot of football games since then. They've seen a lot of athletic quarterbacks. So he's a dual threat guy. He can run it. He can spin it. So obviously having guys that are experienced that played in that game, is a plus. But, we've changed probably and evolved as a system, from year one to where we're at now as well. So, I've got a ton of respect for him. I think he does a great job. I think Coach Napier, does a phenomenal job with what they do on offense. And they just play, I think when you look at them, they're just a really, really well-coached, fundamentally sound team. They don't turn the ball over on offense. They get the ball on defense. They're good on special teams. It's a whole culture philosophy, and they work well together in all 3 phases. And so, I think for us, our phase, the phase that we're in control of, making sure that we can stop the run, not give up explosive plays, and make them have to go the distance. And that's what we got to be ready to do. And hopefully we'll prepare our kids where they're confident and able to do that.
Christian Zachary, obviously a highly rated recruit, and we heard a lot about him back in the training camp, and he got some playing time his first couple games, but then he kind of got set back with some injuries. It looks like maybe he might be getting back towards being healthy. Is that the case? And a guy as physical as he is he a guy that can be a critical piece, depth piece, these next 2 games, teams that like to run the ball?
Yeah, I definitely think he can help us, John. He's got a tremendous upside, great talent, and so, hopefully he's a guy that can help us in the 2 deep. I expect that he can, based on what I've seen. And it's just when you're talking about a freshman that he's got a ton of talent, but then you miss all that time. And, then you talk about, okay, what can this guy do? What can he execute? How much volume can we have in the game plan? And, that's where I think we got to get to that point where he can execute every single call. It's not that he doesn't have the ability. It's that he's missed a lot of reps mentally and physically. And it's not just, he hasn't been out there during practice. He was rehabbing to get back on the field. So he missed meeting time. He missed all those things for multiple weeks. So, it's hard to all of a sudden take out calls when you have a guy that's not starting come in the game because this guy can only do X, Y, and Z as a play caller. So it's getting him acclimated to the game plan, and I do think he can help us, and I think we're going to need him to help us. He's got as much ability as any D lineman we have, but it's just can we be assignment sound and put it all together and do what we're asking him to do at a high level. So no question on the athletic ability there. As you guys know, it's just when you talk about the volume of reps and those things, how quick can we get them ready for this game?
Okay, you meant going back to the bye week again, when beginning to install the defensive scheme for facing a Louisiana or Army, is getting a bye week right before that advantageous just to make sure those guys can get the mental reps in during that bye week and have an idea of what you need to do in order to be successful?
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, we spent most of our time, getting ready for Army, just because it's so different than anything we've faced. So we felt like using that would help us down the road for that game. But yeah, I mean, obviously our guys are watching film on ULL, and we got out there today and introduced kind of base stuff. But they're both really multiple. It's not like either one is it's just like our offense. It's an RPO based offense. I mean, they're both run based offenses that are really multiple, that shift, that motion. With ULL, I mean, somebody's going to shift or move every single play. So I told the guys, I mean, it's either going to be tackle over, it's going to be end over, it's going to be tight end trade, it's going to be orbit motion, it's going to be counter orbit motion. I mean, there's a lot of similarities to Army and Lafayette from a motion adjustment standpoint. And so, our guys are going to have to be locked in because, we're not just going to, run one call. I think that's what, offenses want you to do is have to be, vanilla and base against it. We got to be able to be multiple and give them different looks and different fit structures and those things. So I think from a standpoint of, when you start to prep for Army, I mean, I don't know. Army's as multiple of a team from an option standpoint as I've ever seen. Coaching against Navy and Georgia Southern, Army's a whole different level. So I think there is some good carryover for our guys, though, just as far as being able to check and make sure we're on the same page and those sorts of things. So I think part of it last week I thought their attitudes were good. I mean, we practiced Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, gave them off Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so they went 3 days. But I knew that they wanted a break. I mean, as a coaching staff, we were kind of in the same boat. Our coaching staff got out on the road and recruited, but I mean, it was good for our guys to be able to have some of that time off, and they needed it, and we probably needed it from them. It's been 10 straight weeks, so it's a stressful, high demanding profession, and so I think for all of us to be able to get away and just kind of recharge and refocus, like Coach Freeze said, this is really the second season is kind of just starting now. We went 10 straight weeks without a bye, so we just want to focus on one at a time, and right now it's trying to prepare our guys to have a chance against a elite group of five, probably the second best group of five behind Cincinnati in the country. I would guess ranking wise for sure, coming to our place.